Here is a mind-bending fact. Studies show that lottery winners and severe accident survivors often end up at similar levels of happiness shortly after their life-changing events. How is this possible? Today, we're diving into the fascinating science of happiness. Everybody wants that, don't we? Today we'll explore why external circumstances might not impact our joy as much as we think, and uncover the real factors that shape our well-being. Get ready to challenge your assumptions about what truly makes us happy. We'll look at groundbreaking research, share practical insights, and maybe even bust a few myths along the way. By the end of this episode, you'll have a fresh perspective on happiness that could totally transform how you approach your daily life. Welcome back to the Unshakable People podcast, where we transform knowledge into action, one breakthrough at a time. My name is Katie Kaspari, I'm your host, and I am a certified psychologist, executive mindset coach, and your guide to rewiring your life from the inside out. For 25 years, I've been diving into the human experience, working with executives, leaders, and dreamers who are ready to break through their limitations. My mission? To help you upgrade yourself and scale your life beyond what you thought possible. Today, we're about to do something radical. We're going to pull back the curtain on the science of happiness. And I promise you, what you are about to hear isn't just another feel-good lecture. This is a strategic blueprint for understanding why you might be stuck and exactly how to break free. So make sure you don't miss on that and stay tuned. Did you know that 80% of people believe money can buy happiness? Let's explore this common belief because there is so much of it around. Many of us think that if we just had more money, everything would be better. Our lives would be completely transformed. But here's the truth. External circumstances like having more money often don't lead to lasting happiness. Research shows that when we experience positive changes in our lives, like getting a raise or buying something that we really wanted for a long time, the happiness spike is usually short-lived. This phenomenon is called the hedonic treadmill. We quickly adapt to these positive changes and return to our baseline level of happiness. Think about it. Have you ever gotten something you really, really wanted, only to find that the excitement wore off faster than you expected? That's the hedonic treadmill in action. We are constantly chasing the next big thing, thinking it will finally make us happy, but we end up right back where we started. Studies have shown that once our basic needs are met, additional income has a diminishing return on happiness. In fact, researchers have found that beyond a certain point, more money doesn't significantly increase life satisfaction. Money can certainly make life more comfortable, but it's not the golden ticket to happiness, how we imagine it to be. So why do we keep falling for this illusion? Part of it is societal pressure. We are bombarded with messages telling us that success equals wealth, right? And wealth equals happiness. Social media amplifies this, showing us carefully curated glimpses of people's lives that make us think, if I had that, I'd be happy. But this doesn't mean we should ignore our financial well-being. Money is a tool that, when used wisely, can support our pursuit of happiness. The key here is to understand that it's just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. So, if money isn't the answer, then what is? That's where the science of happiness comes in. Researchers have been studying what truly makes people happy, and the results might surprise you. It turns out that factors like strong social connections, a sense of purpose, gratitude, and personal growth contribute far more to our overall happiness than our bank balance. Understanding the science of happiness gives us a more reliable path to well-being. It's about developing habits and mindsets that promote lasting contentment, rather than chasing fleeting pleasures or external markers of success. But here is where it gets interesting. While science can definitely point us in the right direction, the journey to happiness is deeply personal. What brings joy to one person might not work for another. What is good for you might not be good for me. And that's why it's crucial to explore different strategies and find what resonates with you. Imagine if your happiness was predetermined at birth. Scary, right? That's a scary thought. Well, the truth about genetic happiness is much more complex and more empowering at the same time than you might expect. Scientists have been studying this for years, and here's what they found. Genetics do play a role in our happiness levels. Research suggests that about 50% of our happiness might be influenced by our genes in one way or another. That's right, half of your happiness could be hardwired into your DNA. And this genetic component is what researchers call our happiness set point. It's like a default setting for our mood. Some people might naturally hover around a high level of contentment, while others might lean towards a lower baseline. Now you might be thinking, great, so now what? I'm doomed if I got the short end of the genetic stick. But here is where it gets even more interesting, and where you have more power than you realize. That other 50%, remember? And that's all you. Your environment, your choices, your actions, they all play a massive role in determining your happiness. Think about it like this. Your genes might give you a head start or a handicap in the race to happiness, but you are the one running the race. You are the one who decides how to train, what route to take, and how hard to push yourself. Studies have shown that even people with a genetic predisposition to depression or anxiety can significantly improve their mental health and happiness through many lifestyle changes. Things like regular exercise, healthy social connections, mindfulness practices, you name it. They all have the power to boost your mood and override genetic tendencies. It's about consistency. It's about making choices every single day that align with your happiness goals. Your genes might set the stage, true, but you are the one writing the script and directing the show. And here's the bottom line. Your genes are not your fate. It's not the same thing. They are more like a suggestion, a starting point. The real power lies in what you do with what you've got. Every choice you make, every habit you form, every relationship you nurture, they all have the potential to tip the scale of your happiness. So, why don't you just stop waiting for happiness to magically appear because of your DNA? Take control. Make the choice right now to prioritize your well-being. Start small if you need to. Make a walk, call a friend, practice gratitude. These little actions, they add up. And over time, they can override even the strongest genetic predispositions. Remember, you are not a passenger in your own life. You're the driver. Your genes might be the car that you've been given, but you decide where to go and how to get there. So take the wheel. Your happiness journey starts right now. And now let's talk about what's really going on in your brain when it comes to happiness. It's about a complex cocktail of chemicals that's brewing up there. You've heard about dopamine and serotonin, I'm sure. But did you know these tiny molecules are running your emotional life? Your mood isn't just about positive thinking. It's a complex chemical dance. And understanding the steps could change everything. Let's focus on how these neurotransmitters interact. Dopamine and serotonin don't work alone. They are constantly influencing each other, responding to your environment, and creating a delicate ecosystem in your brain. When one gets out of balance, it can throw the whole system off. Think about that sugar crash after binging on sweets. That's your dopamine system going into overdrive and then crashing. Or feeling irritable and anxious after poor sleep. That's likely due to disrupted serotonin production. But here's the good news. You're not at the mercy of your brain chemistry. Your lifestyle choices have a huge impact on these neurotransmitters. Regular exercise boosts both serotonin and dopamine. Healthy social connections, they increase oxytocin. Even something as simple as getting enough sunlight can help regulate your serotonin levels. On the flip side of the coin, chronic stress, poor diet, and lack of sleep can wreak havoc on your brain chemistry. It's like constantly withdrawing from your emotional bank account without making any deposits. So, how can you use this knowledge to rewire your brain for lasting happiness? It's not about chasing constant highs. Instead, it's about creating a sustainable balance. Start by prioritizing sleep. That's a good one. It's the foundation of good brain health. Aim for regular exercise, even if it's just a short walk each day. Nourish your body with whole foods that support neurotransmitter production. Challenge yourself to learn new things, as this stimulates dopamine production in a healthy way. Practice gratitude to give your serotonin a natural boost. And make time for meaningful connections to tap into that oxytocin goodness. Remember, small changes can have a huge impact over time. You are not trying to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, focus on consistent, sustainable habits that support your brain's chemical balance. As you start to make these changes, you are actually rewiring your brain. You are creating new neural pathways that support happiness and well-being. It's like you are the conductor of your own neurochemical orchestra, learning to create beautiful music instead of cacophony. But it's not just about brain chemistry. While understanding these biological processes is of course crucial, true happiness goes beyond just balancing neurotransmitters. It's about finding meaning, pursuing goals, and connecting with other people. Your brain chemistry is the foundation, but what you build on top of it is up to you. Think about the last time you scrolled through social media or walked past a billboard. Chances are you were bombarded with promises of happiness. Companies aren't just selling products, they are selling the promise of a better life. And we are buying into them big time. Marketing tactics have evolved. They are tapping into your deepest desires and insecurities. The face creams, it's not just moisturizer. It's a confidence in a jar. That new phone, it's your ticket to social acceptance. These companies are creating artificial needs, making you feel like you're missing out if you don't have the latest and the greatest. Social media is the perfect breeding ground for this mindset. You are constantly exposed to carefully curated highlight reels of other people's lives, making you feel like your own life doesn't measure up. And it's a never-ending cycle. As soon as you get that thing you thought would make you happy, there is always something new on the horizon. Now, I'm not saying all products or services are bad. There are plenty of things that can genuinely improve our lives, but we need to be aware of the manipulation at play. We need to question whether our desires are really our own, or if they've been carefully manufactured by clever marketing. The real sources of happiness, what are they? Well, they are often free and within our reach. Strong relationships, personal growth, contributing to something greater than ourselves, these all are the things that truly fulfill us. But they are not as easy to package and sell as a shiny new gadget. The next time you feel that urge to buy something, to make yourself happier, just pause, stop right there and ask yourself, is this really going to bring me lasting joy? Or am I just falling for a well-crafted marketing message? Remember, true fulfillment comes from a much deeper place. It's time to explore the real foundation of a satisfied life, and it might not be what you expect and what you think right now. So, stay tuned. You've probably heard that chasing happiness is the key to a good life. But what if that relentless pursuit is actually making you miserable? It sounds crazy, but there is a hidden trap in our quest for feeling good. And it could explain why so many of us, millions of people, feel empty despite having everything we thought we wanted. Here's the problem. Our society is obsessed with pleasure and avoiding pain. We are constantly chasing the next high, the next distraction, the next hit of dopamine. But research shows that focusing solely on pleasure actually leads to feeling empty and unfulfilled. Think about it. Have you ever reached a goal you thought would make you happy, only to feel a weird sense of now what afterwards? That's because true, lasting satisfaction comes from having a sense of purpose. When you're working towards something meaningful, even the struggles become rewarding. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about finding meaning in the journey. But let's be real here for a second. Discovering your purpose isn't always easy. It's actually very hard, especially in today's hyper-connected world. We are bombarded with so many options and distractions that it can be hard to figure out what really matters to us. Social media shows us highlight reels of other people's lives, making us question our own path, and the pressure to have it all figured out by a certain age. That's enough to make anyone feel lost. So, how do you find your purpose? It starts with getting honest with yourself. What lights a fire in you? What problems in the world make you want to take action? Your purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It can be as simple as being a great parent or creating art that brings joy to others. The key is to start experimenting. You won't discover your purpose by just thinking about it. Try new things. Volunteer. Take a class. Start a side project. Pay attention to what energizes you and what drains you. Look for patterns in the activities that make you lose track of time. And remember, living with purpose isn't always easy. It often means facing challenges and stepping out of your comfort zone. But that's where true growth and fulfillment come from. When you're aligned with your values and when you're working towards something meaningful, something big, even in hard days, have a sense of satisfaction. So I want you to ask yourself, are you chasing fleeting pleasures or are you building a life of purpose? Are you distracted by short-term happiness or are you focused on long-term fulfillment? Your lack of purpose might be the very thing making you feel miserable. But here is where most people get stuck. Social media's impact on our self-esteem and happiness is undeniable. But let's explore some fresh strategies to break free from the comparison trap. First, practice digital mindfulness. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, set specific intentions for your social media use. Ask yourself, what am I hoping to gain from this session? Am I seeking inspiration, connection, or information? This conscious approach can help you engage more purposefully and avoid the pitfalls of comparison. Next, create a reality check album on your phone. Fill it with unfiltered, everyday moments from your life. Don't worry, just put everything in there, no one will see it. And when you find yourself falling into the comparison trap, flip through this album to remind yourself that your life, in all its imperfect glory, is just as valuable as anyone else's highlight reel. Another powerful strategy is to engage in social media gratitude. For every post that makes you feel inadequate, challenge yourself to find something in your own life to be grateful for. This practice shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, fostering a more positive mindset. Consider implementing a comparison cleanse. Choose one day a week to completely abstain from social media. Yeah, that digital detox. Use this time to reconnect with yourself. Engage in activities that you really enjoy and appreciate your life without external influences. And lastly, practice reality-based self-talk. When you catch yourself making unfair comparisons, pause and ask, is this a fair comparison? What don't I know about this person's life? This helps you maintain a more balanced perspective. And now I have a very quick request. If this episode is hitting different for you, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me one thing you're going to do differently after hearing this. Your insights fuel this community. Remember, breaking free from the comparison trap isn't about completely eliminating social media from your life. It's about changing your relationship with these platforms and, more importantly, with yourself. By implementing these strategies, you can transform social media from a source of stress to a tool for genuine connection and personal growth. Your worth isn't determined by likes or followers. It's determined by the impact you have, the relationships you nurture, and the growth you achieve. These are the things that truly matter, and they can't be captured in a perfectly staged post. So the next time you find yourself falling into the comparison trap, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of your unique journey and the value you bring to the world. And then ask yourself, what can I do right now to improve my own life? Instead of wishing for someone else's. Your happiness, your self-esteem, your peace of mind, they are too valuable to be sacrificed on the altar of social media comparison. It's time to reclaim your power and focus on what truly matters in your life. And now let's talk about what you can actually control. You've probably heard about cognitive distortions before, but let's dive a bit deeper into some advanced techniques to combat them. Remember, these aren't just annoying thought patterns. They are actively holding you back from happiness and success. One powerful tool is the triple column technique. Here is how it works. Draw 3 columns on a piece of paper. In the first, write down your negative thought. In the second, identify the cognitive distortion at play. And in the third, challenge that thought with a more balanced, realistic perspective. For example, let's say you think, I bombed that presentation. I am terrible at public speaking. In the second column, you might identify this as overgeneralization or all or nothing thinking. And in the third column, you could write, while I made some mistakes, I also had strong points. Public speaking is a skill I can improve with practice. And another advanced technique is Socratic questioning. This involves asking yourself a series of probing questions to challenge your negative thoughts. Questions like, what evidence supports this thought? Is there evidence that contradicts this thought? Am I confusing a thought with a fact? And am I focusing on irrelevant details? And so on and so forth. This process helps you step back and examine your thoughts more objectively and in more detail. Remember, reframing isn't about positive thinking. It's about realistic thinking. Instead of telling yourself everything will be perfect, try, I can handle challenges as they come. I used to struggle with catastrophizing before big events. I'd imagine every possible worst case scenario. But then I started using the best case, worst case, most likely case technique. And what it means, I'd write down the absolute best outcome, the absolute worst, and then the most realistic kind of middle ground. And this technique helped me put things in perspective and prepare more effectively. Positive self-talk is crucial. And we hear about it from every corner nowadays. But it needs to be grounded in reality. Instead of empty affirmations, try evidence-based self-encouragement. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, counter with specific examples of times you've actually overcome similar challenges. And here is your challenge for this week. Practice the triple column technique daily. Write down one negative thought each day and work through the process. Pay attention to patterns that emerge. Are there any specific distortions you tend to fall into more often? And remember, changing thought patterns takes time and practice. Just be patient with yourself. Give yourself time. Every time you challenge a distorted thought, you are rewiring your brain for more balanced, realistic thinking. Your mind is a powerful tool, of course, but like any tool, it requires skill to use it effectively. Don't let your thoughts run on autopilot. Question them, challenge them, and reshape them. But thoughts alone aren't enough. And now I would like to invite you to talk about gratitude. Now, I know what you're thinking. Katie, gratitude? Really? That's your big secret? But hear me out. Please, just give me a minute. This is about fundamentally shifting how your brain processes the world around you, on the chemical level and on the physical level. Our brains are naturally wired to focus on the negative. It's a survival mechanism left over from when we needed to be constantly alert for threats and danger. But in our modern world today, this tendency can leave us feeling stressed, anxious, unhappy. And here is where it gets really interesting. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can actually change the structure of your brain. It's like hitting a reset button on your negative thought patterns. When you consistently focus on the good things in your life, no matter how small, you are training your brain to look for the positive. So how do we tap into this power? Does everybody have that? Now, let's explore some unique gratitude practices that you might not have tried before. First, try the gratitude scavenger hunt. Now, each day, challenge yourself to find and photograph 3 things that you are grateful for. This visual practice helps you actively seek out positivity in your environment. You would actually find it. Another powerful technique is reverse gratitude. Now, what it means is instead of focusing on what you have, imagine your life without certain people or certain things. Imagine they're just not there, they're gone. This exercise can profoundly shift your perspective and deepen your appreciation. For those who love music, also, you can create a gratitude playlist. Compile songs that remind you of some moments, some people, or experiences that you are thankful for, that you remember with joy. And listening to this playlist can instantly boost your mood and reinforce feelings of gratitude inside. Also, you might try the gratitude letter relay. Write a letter of thanks to someone and then ask them to pay it forward by writing their own gratitude letter to somebody else, not to you, not to return it, but to pay it forward. This creates a chain of appreciation that extends beyond just you. And this is something big. This is a big purpose that you have become a start of. And lastly, you might practice future gratitude. For this, visualize your future self and write a letter from that perspective, expressing gratitude for the actions you are taking now. This not only cultivates gratitude, but it also motivates you to work towards your goals. And remember, gratitude isn't a magic cure. It won't solve all your problems or make your life perfect overnight. But what it will do is change your perspective. It will help you see the good that's already there in your life, even on your toughest days. So here is my challenge to you again. Choose one of these unique gratitude practices and commit to it for the next week. Pay attention to how it affects your mood, how it affects your interactions, your overall outlook. And I bet you'll be surprised at how quickly you start to see a difference. Happiness isn't just about big achievements or life-changing events. It's about recognizing and appreciating the good that's already present in your life. Gratitude is the key to unlocking that awareness and transforming your outlook on life. But gratitude isn't the only tool in our happiness toolkit. We've talked about the importance of social connections before, but now I suggest we go in a bit more detail into the science behind it. Research shows that strong social bonds don't just make us feel good, they are crucial for our health and longevity. A study from Brigham Young University found that social isolation increases the risk of premature death by a staggering 50%. But here's the thing. In our hyper-connected world, we are paradoxically more isolated than ever. We might have hundreds of social media friends, but how many people do we really connect with on a meaningful level? How many people truly know us, support us, and challenge us to grow? Think about your own life for a second. When was the last time you had a deep, meaningful conversation with someone? Not a fight, not an argument, a conversation. If you're struggling to remember, trust me, you're not alone. Building and maintaining strong relationships takes time. It takes effort and vulnerability, things that can feel scarce in our fast-paced world. But the payoff is huge. Recent studies have shown that strong social connections can boost your immune system, lower your stress levels, and even increase your lifespan. In fact, a Harvard study spanning nearly 80 years found that close relationships were the strongest predictor of happiness and health throughout life. It's not just about quantity. Quality matters more. One genuine, supportive relationship is worth more than 1,000 shallow acquaintances. It's about finding your tribe, the people who get you, who support your dreams, and who call you out when you're making excuses. For the introverts out there, don't worry. Being an introvert doesn't mean you don't need connections. It just means you might prefer deeper, one-on-one relationships over large social gatherings, and that's all right. The key is finding what works for you. So, how do we build these life-changing connections? In my opinion, it all starts with being intentional. Reach out to that old friend you've been meaning to call for a long time but never got a chance. Join a group related to your interest, and when you do connect with people, be present. Put down your phone and really listen and share something real about yourself. As we build these connections, we need to be aware of toxic relationships. Are there people in your life who drain you instead of energize you? Do you have relationships that are all take and no give? It's time to take a hard look at your social circle and ask yourself, are these relationships serving me? Do I benefit from these relationships? And remember, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you need to choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and make you want to do better in life. Because the right connections won't just make you happier. They will help you become the best version of yourself. And now, let's get physical. We often hear about the connection between physical health and mental well-being. But in today's episode, I want to explore some unique ways our bodies impact our happiness that you might not have considered before. Think about your posture for a moment. How are you sitting right now or standing right now? Research shows that our body language doesn't just reflect our mood, it can actually create it. Try this. Sit up straight, shoulders back, chin up. Do you notice how different you feel compared to when you are slouched over? And now let's talk about breathing. Breath is important. Most of us don't give it a second thought, but the way we breathe can dramatically affect our mood. Now take a deep breath right now, filling your lungs completely, and then slowly exhale. Feel that sense of calm? That's your body's natural relaxation response kicking in. And here is something interesting. Your gut health plays a huge role in your happiness. Scientists call the gut our second brain because it produces many of the same neurotransmitters as our actual brain. A healthy gut can lead to a happier you. Let's not forget about touch. In our digital world, we are often deprived of physical contact. But something as simple as a hug or a handshake can release oxytocin and the feel-good hormone that boosts happiness and reduces stress. Movement is another powerful tool. I'm not just talking about intense workouts. Even gentle stretching or a short walk can shift your mood. It's not about the intensity. It's about breaking patterns of inactivity that can lead to negative thought spirals. Here is a challenge for you. This week, pick one of these areas: posture, breathing, gut health, touch, or movement, and make a small change. Maybe it's setting reminders to check your posture, or maybe it's taking a few deep breaths before each meal. Notice how these small physical adjustments impact your overall sense of well-being. And remember, your body is constantly sending signals to your brain about how you should be feeling right this minute, right now. By making conscious choices about how we treat our bodies, we can hack our way to a happier state of mind. It's not just about looking good. It's about feeling good from the inside out. Your happiness isn't just in your head. It's in every cell of your body. So let's start treating our bodies as the incredible mood-alerting tools that they are. The power to boost your happiness is literally at your fingertips. Why not start using it today? In the next part of the episode, I want to explore mindfulness and meditation, but from a fresh perspective. While we've touched on their benefits before, there is definitely more to uncover. Recent studies have shown that mindfulness doesn't just reduce stress, it actually changes your brain structure. Neuroscientists have found that regular practice increases gray matter in areas associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. But don't worry, you don't need to become a Zen master to reap the rewards. Mindfulness can be practiced in small moments throughout your day. It's about quality, not quantity. And I want to ask you to try this right now. Take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs. Notice the sensations in your body. Hear the sound around you. This is mindfulness in action, and you can do it anytime, anywhere, while nobody sees you if you wish. New techniques are emerging all the time. But have you heard of mindful walking? It's a simple yet powerful practice where you focus on each step, feeling the ground beneath your feet. Or try body scanning, a technique where you mentally scan your body from head to toe, noticing any sensations without judgments. The real magic of mindfulness isn't just about feeling calm in the moment. It's about developing a new relationship with your thoughts and your emotions. Imagine being able to feel anger without lashing out, or experiencing anxiety without being overwhelmed by it. That's the power of mindfulness. It's not easy. I'm not saying it is, and that's okay. Like any skill, it takes practice and it takes time. You'll have days where your mind wanders more than it's present, and you just would find it difficult for you to concentrate. But the practice isn't about having a perfectly clear mind. It's about noticing when your mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. And here is another challenge. For the next week, try a simple mindfulness practice for just 5 minutes a day. It could be a guided meditation, a mindful walk, or just sitting quietly and focusing on your breath. Notice how it affects your mood, your stress levels, your interactions with others. And remember, this isn't about adding another task to your to-do list. It's not a task. It's about creating space in your life. Space for you to pay attention to you. Space to breathe. Space to think. To just be. In that space, you might just find the contentment you've been searching for. In a world that's always pushing us to do more, to be more, to achieve more, mindfulness reminds us that we are enough. Just as we are, right here, right now, we are enough. It's a simple yet profound practice that can transform how we experience life, how we live it. Think you've got happiness figured out by this time? Well, now I want to suggest you to explore a formula that might just be the key you've been missing. But here is a twist. It's not about following generic advice. It's about becoming a detective in your own life. Your happiness formula is as unique as your fingerprint. What lights you up might leave someone else cold. So how do you crack the code? Well, start by paying attention to those moments when you feel truly alive. What are you doing? Who are you with? These are the clues that you need. But here's the catch. This isn't a one and done deal. Life changes, and so do you. That's why experimentation is crucial. You've got to be willing to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's taking up a new hobby, or maybe it's changing your routine, or connecting with different people. Think about the last time you felt genuinely joyful. When was it? What elements contributed to that feeling? Now, how can you incorporate more of those elements into your daily life? It might mean saying no to things that don't serve you, even if it disappoints other people. Your happiness is your responsibility. Do it if you have to. Creating your happiness formula is a process. It takes time, effort, and brutal honesty with yourself. You might have to let go of some preconceptions about what should make you happy. But trust me, it's definitely worth it. And now I want to talk about some happiness traps that you might be falling into. Are you constantly postponing your happiness, thinking, I'll be happy when? That's a recipe for never being satisfied. Or maybe you are playing the comparison game, measuring your life against others' highlight reels on social media. Remember, you are seeing their best moments, not their daily struggles and their entire lives. And finally, be wary of the happiness hustle, the belief that if you just optimize every aspect of your life, you'll achieve perfect, constant happiness. Newsflash, that's not how life works. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a journey with ups and downs, with goods and bads. It's a zebra. So, are you ready to create your own happiness formula? By now, you have enough tools, enough practices to take control of your life. It starts with getting honest with yourself. What do you really want? Not what you think you should want. What makes you feel alive regardless of what others might think? This is just the beginning. Creating and maintaining your happiness formula is an ongoing process. It requires constant tuning and adjusting. But the payoff? A life that feels authentically joyful, that feels deeply fulfilling and true to who you really are. And that's beautiful. So what's the first step that you're going to take today? We've explored personal happiness, but now let's consider how individual joy can spark wider change. When you are truly happy, it affects everyone around you. Your smile brightens someone's day. Your positive attitude inspires your co-workers, your friends, just random strangers you meet on the street. Your kindness creates a ripple effect that spreads far beyond your immediate circle. But here's the problem. Our society often prioritizes other values over happiness. We chase success, we chase money, status, and even if it makes us miserable, we keep chasing it. We work long hours, neglect relationships, and push ourselves to complete burnout. And all for what? A bigger paycheck? A fancier title? A new car? Imagine a world where happiness was our primary goal, where governments measured success by the well-being of their citizens. Some countries are already doing this. Take Bhutan, which introduced the concept of gross national happiness, measuring prosperity by the spiritual, physical, social, and environmental health of its citizens and environments, not by money. What if we applied these ideas to our own lives and to our own communities? What if businesses prioritized employee well-being? What if schools taught emotional intelligence alongside math and science? What if we made decisions based on what truly makes us happy? The impact could be enormous. Studies show that happier people are more productive, they are more creative, and they are more likely to help other people. They have stronger immune systems, better relationships, and they just generally live longer. Imagine the collective power of a society full of people like that. What would that society be like? But there is happiness conspiracy keeping us trapped in discontent. How many ads have you seen today promising happiness through products or services or any other big promises that marketers make? How often have you compared your life to someone's highlight reel or social media and felt inadequate? This constant chase for more keeps us perpetually unsatisfied. It benefits big corporations big time, and it distracts us from questioning the status quo. But lasting happiness doesn't come from external sources. It comes from within, from living aligned with your values, cultivating meaningful relationships, building meaningful connections, and ultimately finding purpose. Breaking free from this cycle is not easy. It's a difficult thing to do. It requires a fundamental shift in how we think, a paradigm shift about happiness and success. It means questioning societal norms and making choices that might go against the grain. But the rewards are immeasurable. So how can you start this happiness revolution? Definitely, the answer is clear. Begin with yourself. Define what truly makes you happy, not what you think should make you happy, or not what other people expect from you. Practice gratitude daily. That's a very important one. Cultivate meaningful relationships. Find ways to contribute to something bigger than yourself, and share your happiness with others. Your personal joy is a powerful force that can change the world around you. Every smile, every act of kindness, every moment of genuine happiness is a small act of revolution against a system that often prioritizes the wrong things. So are you ready to take the first step towards a happier you and a happier world? Happiness isn't a distant goal. It's something you create every single day through your choices and actions. It takes effort, but it's always worthwhile. And here is another challenge for you. Choose one technique we discussed and commit to it for the next 30 days. Maybe it's practicing gratitude, challenging negative thoughts, prioritizing physical health. Whatever we've spoken about today would be good enough. 30 days. Whatever resonates with you, just pick it and stick with it. Remember, you have the power to shape your own happiness. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It might never come. It's about taking action right now. You've got everything you need inside you. So just go out there and make it happen. Your journey to a happier life starts today. And on this note, I want to leave you with this thought. If you enjoyed the episode, if you found it useful, please kindly like and subscribe to spread the word that this podcast exists. I hope you found value, and I will be waiting for your comments down under the video, and for your subscriptions, for your likes, and for your shares. I hope that today, by making this episode from the bottom of my heart, I could contribute to somebody else's happiness maybe, and influence somebody else's life. That would be good enough for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.